Well, Akwa Ibom State Commissioner for Information, Nekan Umanah, joins me live in the studio. Mr. Umanah, or Elder Umanah, wears many hats. Member of the EXCO, you're Commissioner for Information, and you were a member of the House of Representatives. Good to have you join us in the studio.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abosede, and thank you so much, our viewers. I'm happy to be here.
All right. And I see the Arise thing on your hat.
Yes, it's right here. You can see it and see it real well. Yeah, so we will get into that. I'll tell you what it means.
Indeed, we will. So, for the second time, members of the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council have held a retreat in Lagos. And you know what? That is receiving an uproar. Let me quickly read to you the comments coming from the National Coordinator of the Niger Delta Peace Coalition, Zik Bemre. He says, it's reckless for Akwa Ibom government to take a squandering jamboree to a high-end Lagos hotel in the name of EXCO retreat. How do you respond to that?
Yes, I think I sympathize with the thoughts of the coordinator, because I think he needs sufficient knowledge on what a retreat means. When you retreat, it means you want to go and think. When you retreat, you want to go and get into some very serious exercise. Get away from your environment, get away from the distractions, and concentrate. And for 4 days, the members of the Executive Council of Akwa Ibom State, led by His Excellency Governor Umanah, PhD, came into Lagos, yes, in a Atiko hotel, and got locked into that place. It was like a lockdown. I am part of the EXCO, so I sat in there throughout. It was a lockdown, a very serious exercise from the 7th to the 10th of the month. It themed delivering the Arise agenda. That's why you asked me the Arise agenda, I'll tell you what it is, and so on. And so EXCO got into reviewing and evaluating the performance of the administration. Don't forget, government will soon be 2 years old by May 29th. So the governor, in his characteristic way of doing things, decided to sit through, evaluate every element of the Arise agenda and the performance of government to see if there are gaps that needs to be closed, and then set milestones on the delivery of projects and programs of government. So 28 solid presentations were taken, ministerial reviews were taken, projects reviews were taken, and of course, in between that, council also got into emergency executive council meeting and what we call the FGPC, Finance and General Purposes Committee, to review some projects and get them ratified. All this went on, and in the sidelines of all of this, the governor still had to do his work, meeting with the United Nations officials and certain other groups that he had meetings scheduled. So it was work in progress. Government moved on seamlessly, but he needed to get out of Uyo to have the concentration that is needed to allow government to think for the people of Akwa Ibom. Don't forget, it's not a new thing. Several states come to Akwa Ibom State for retreat. I have seen Lagos State House of Assembly before come completely and then stayed in Akwa Ibom to do a retreat. Bayelsa State came to Akwa Ibom. Several others come there for retreat. So coming for a retreat in Lagos, there's nothing wrong with that. The government and the decided to sit down and think and recalibrate its processes and review its programs and projects, and then begin to set new timelines and delivery propositions to ensure that things work for the people.
I hear you, Mr. Umanah, but
Thank you.
Some of the points that I just raised was, why spend so much of the state resources, and why not just plow that resource back into Akwa Ibom State? Let's talk about the theme.
No, there is nothing. There is nothing you do.
Yes.
You can't. For the fact that companies are holding retreats. Companies are holding retreats. Some even outside this country. People go to retreats in Ghana, in Dubai, in the UK, in the US, depending on how they have structured it. So the governor, in his thinking and wisdom, thought he should take the people out to have the concentration that is needed.
So by the time you return to Akwa Ibom now, we expect to see high-level action.
You will see high-level actions. You will see project delivery. You will see commissioning. You will see flag-offs and so on. Let me tell you, there are 47 projects set up to be flagged off between now and May 29th. And there are about 20 ready for commissioning as I speak to you.
All right.
And then some of these things, we needed to look at them, look at the performances, look at where we stand, ensure that we're meeting the timelines, and then recalibrate the thought processes of the various ministries and commissioners, align their work together, and then as well as the delivery advisors to ensure that they deliver the value for the people of Akwa Ibom State.
We'll get to talk about the delivery advisors themselves. But, you know, in October 2023, when you had a similar retreat, you know, you came up with a number of resolutions, and it included growing at least 3%, you know, growing the economy of Akwa Ibom State at least 3% above the national GDP. And you were looking at increasing revenue by increasing internally generated revenue, public-private partnership, and, you know, adopting innovative infrastructure. Tell us, where is Akwa Ibom State in all of this?
Yes, clearly I can say to you that Akwa Ibom has been on a trajectory of real growth in the last year, in the last 1 year. From the last point that you mentioned, the economy of the state is growing, tourism is growing, more people are coming to the state. All the entirety of the economic indices that makes a state on the growth path we have seen in Akwa Ibom State in the last 1 year. If you look at tourism, for instance, looking at the numbers captured, I may not have it off head, but so much tourists have come into the state more than the time that you are talking about. More businesses have come in, more collaborations have come in, more investors are expressing interest to work with the state. So for us, I think there is something happening in the state, and we are very excited that is happening. But beyond that, governance is going on very effectively to deliver the goods of the democracy under their rights agenda for the people of Akwa Ibom State. Educational infrastructure is improving by every number. Right now, the administration is building brand new model primary school that look like as modern as this, your new studios, as modern as any school you could find anywhere in the world, in the advanced world, in all 31 local government areas, under what we call one project per local government.
Comparing it to our studio is massive, because our studio is ultra-modern.
No, I am, yes, our schools are also ultra-modern and high-end. I can say this to you.
All right.
You have computers here, we have them.
I hope I can inspect it someday.
You have air conditioning, we have them. We have solar-powered electricity supply. We have playgrounds. We have ICT laboratories for children. We have quarters for teachers. Inside those schools, quarters, fully furnished with everything inside the school, gated, fenced. That's why we call them model primary schools.
And that brings me to another question. Maintaining the facilities, maintaining the infrastructure.
That is part of what we discussed, part of the takeaways in this retreat. Looking at strategies of ensuring the maintenance of infrastructure. That's why His Excellency Governor Umanah set up what he called the Akwa Ibom State Asset Management Agency to harness and aggregate the totality of the infrastructure in the state and work out a plan and methodology that allows proper maintenance of this infrastructure. That is exactly what's going on. We talked about education. If you go to healthcare infrastructure, there's some what we call the model primary healthcare centers. Those could go for general hospitals in several parts of this country. I didn't say it. The Honorable Minister for Health, Professor Ali Pati, did say that when he had the privilege of commissioning one as a special guest of honor of the state on February, I think it was on March the 1st. He commissioned the hospital and did announce that what we call a model primary health center could ordinarily go very easily as a general hospital in any part of the world. And these facilities are being built in all 31 local government areas under their rights agenda. All of those started as what we call the one project per local government, which we finished phase 1 and got into phase 2. And that is happening seamlessly. I don't want, when we are ready, we're going to road infrastructure and other things. But these things are given. But we needed to look at those ones that touch the people, which are part of the things that we reviewed at this retreat, to see if we met the timelines, if we have delivered on the numbers, and what is left. And arising from this retreat, we have scheduled over 20 for commissioning and hand over to the communities. Right. And don't forget, there's something unique about this. The governor did not choose these projects. The people, the stakeholders and people of each local government area decided what they wanted. He first came and said, look, I want to give you first one project per local government. Give us the project you want. And then the people went, sat down, wrote and signed, decided the project and decided the location themselves, not the governor. The governor only received and implemented for the people. All right.
You know, time isn't really so much on our side. Let's talk about the delivery advisors. They were unveiled, you know, during this event. What is the role that these individuals would be playing?
Yes, delivery advisors are very experienced people in the good thinking of His Excellency Governor Umanah. he decided to get men and women with institutional knowledge of specific sectors and projects and assigned them and appointed them delivery advisors and assigned them to specific projects. They are not supposed to run in conflict with the ministries or the commissioners. They are rather to assist the government in ensuring timely and quality delivery of projects. They are given the terms of reference clearly spelled out, and they are now to follow through the delivery process, follow through the delivery timelines and chart, update the government with reports every week to ensure that milestones are met. If there are gaps, they ensure that they make recommendations for those to be free, and they are project specific. For instance, there is a delivery advisor in charge of the transportation and maritime infrastructure that is currently being built in Oron area to open up the maritime opportunities and the economic opportunities in that whole ecosystem, which is part of the growing economy that we talked about. And how do you grow GDP? You must open up transportation, open up maritime activities. What is being built there can go for any small-sized port. You know, you have terminals in that place, you have warehouses, you have cold rooms, you have parks, you have jetties, all in that. And beyond that, you also have ferries and ships that the state government has commissioned the Nigerian Navy to build to enable water transportation between Oron, that's in Akwa Ibom, to Calabar in Cross River Sierra. And of course, that could also extend to rivers, as the case may be for those of us who are in the coastal area. So there's a delivery advisor for that. And that delivery advisor is following through the process, working with the contractors, working with the set project milestones, and ensuring that these things are met as a when due, making recommendations, and also being an intelligence provider for government to ensure things work well.
I'm curious. So, you know, at the federal level, we have someone who serves as special advisor to the president on policy coordination.
Yeah.
Is that the same role they play, or what modalities in place in Akwa Ibom State to monitor performance of EXCO members? Yeah,
there's what is called the delivery office in the office of the governor. You can call it unit if you like, or department. There is an executive assistant and chief delivery advisor to the governor who works from his office. And he has that coordinating role of ensuring that government moves at the speed it ought to move and things are done according to timelines and specifications. So that coordinating role is fixed there already in the governor's office. The governor is running the state as an international business that ought to work and succeed. Efficiency is the name of the game. And he sits through everything to ensure he spends his time. Like in the retreat we're coming for, throughout the 4 days, the governor never left that retreat for one day. He sat there from morning till night. Sometimes we were closing 9 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m., and so on, and getting through things.
I hear you. Talking about the retreat, you know, one of the speakers at that retreat had made a recommendation that, you know, Governor Umanah's address should actually be translated into policy interventions. Is the EXCO, you know, taking that step?
Yes, EXCO took note of that because it was a very important address. He made it very clear that he needed all his policy programs as encapsulated in his well-intentioned developmental blueprint, the ARISE agenda, to ensure the follow-through processes and follow-through timelines. For instance, what we call the ARISE agenda, as you've seen me wear on my cap here, the A is for agricultural revolution, and we're big on agriculture. I can say that to you. We're big on agriculture. His Excellency is building model farms, modeled in the Shanghai farm manner, an integrated farm system that has everything from poultry to real farming to piggery to farmhouses and what have you, with internal roads, building and farm quarters. All of
I'd like you to quickly land on that in just about 30 seconds.
So that is going on, and it's also asked that should be replicated in different local government areas, and actually asked for land. So he's supporting farming development under his food security program to ensure that there's food availability. And he's pursuing from a bottom and top approach. While building the farming infrastructure, he's also supporting local farmers with farming implements and tools to enable them work. And is also putting together a company to provide tractors and equipment leasing company, so that farmers can have access to all of these things. That's going on. But beyond that, it's also providing food directly for the vulnerable using the social register that the federal government asked to be updated sometime last year or year before. So food is available over 600,000 households have benefited already in phase 1 and 2. That is likely to start again on Easter. That's how it's going. So they will have the energy to return to farm and grow the food that we eat. All right, Mr. Umanah, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I've been speaking with the Commissioner for Information in Akwa Ibom State, a former member of the House of Representatives, Anyeka Umanah. Thank you very much for your time on the program. Thank you so much, Ambassador. I thought you had enough time for me. Would have talked about infrastructure, would have talked about the over 700 kilometers. So when I saw you talking about A, I'm like, okay, Mr. Umanah doesn't realize we have limited time. We would have talked about so many other things. So it means you need to come again. You need to come again. And the governor himself also needs to come again. Yes, the governor, anytime he's free, he will come around. All right, then. We appreciate you and thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for all the coverage and support that you're extending to us. Thank you. We appreciate you. Congratulations to TVC. Thank you. You have a beautiful infrastructure. Thank you. Well, that's our program today. We thank you for watching. A repeat broadcast